All right, I think we are live on a Saturday evening, 6:30 here in Pacific time, and yeah, I'm sure there's a few of you who are pretty eager to know how are the snow conditions at Revelstoke right now after a crazy week. I'll be honest, I've not seen conditions like this before in January, and yeah, it's been a quite a shocking week in terms of how things have transitioned from just a short time ago. So, just wanted to jump in tonight and give you a bit of an update, really, on the snow conditions. I went up and did a couple of laps here today, so I can sort of tell you firsthand what the snow really felt like. If you are watching this live, please make sure to get your questions in and comments. Let me know where you're watching this from. Are you planning a trip to Revelstoke, or did you visit recently? I know a couple of you guys have, and yeah, didn't have the best of time, which unfortunately that's just the way Mother Nature has been playing right now. So I'll just do a brief recap first of all. So we have lost about 30 centimeters of base, especially on our mid to lower sections of our mountain. That is primarily due to two things: warm temperatures and lots of rain. Um, and yeah, right now it is still possible to ski all the way to the very, very bottom, but it has felt like we've been skiing in April across the entire mountain rather than, January. So up until today, any skiing that was possible was very sort of spring-like, very don't want to say slushy, but you know what I mean? Like it's good for sort of riding on groomers, as it were, but yeah, providing you didn't mind getting too wet. But that warm weather, we had a freezing level above 3,000 meters pretty much consistently now for the last 4 to 5 days. And that means that has an impact on quite a few things. First of all, obviously, it thaws the snow. The rain then adds to that. It makes it impossible for the cats, the snow teams to actually piece the snow, especially on those lower sections. And so yeah, really, it's sort of been a case of if you're sort of just waiting for it to turn colder. Now, the good news is as of sort of last night, this morning, those temperatures have slowly started to drop down. So on the mountain today, we were hovering around -1 to -3, depending on where you were. And that has already started to change the snow. So especially at the top section right now, we've had a bit of a freeze cycle, which means that things are quite icy. Now, I'm happy to say that when I was up there for a little bit at lunchtime, it was starting to snow. So there was a little bit of soft snow around. But on that top section, it was still a little bit clumpy in places on top of or around the ice. So quite not like an even spread of snow really right now. The forecast keeps changing, as it has done all season, making it really hard to predict. One thing that everyone does seem to be in agreement on is that it is going to be consistently cold now for the next couple of days and going into next week. So that's good, which means that the groomers can get up and start trying to, firm up some of the main runs again. And I'm hoping maybe with a little bit more colder weather after Monday that they might be able to start making some snow and fixing up the base at the bottom of the hill. They're forecasting a couple of flurries tonight, potentially another 3 or 4 centimeters. So there might be a little bit of soft snow up top. That freezing level is going to be coming to around about 1,200 meters right now. So again, not all the way down to the valley right now, but yeah, it's just been very, very strange. I mean, to put it into perspective, like I was driving home from the hill today, and people were out jogging and people were out walking their dogs. Do you know, it was kind of almost like people had sort of not accepted, but it was almost like it just didn't feel like winter. It didn't feel like peak winter. This felt like we were in April and everyone was getting ready for spring and ready for the for the sun to come out. And the snow in the village has bit by bit been washed away. I'm seeing grass everywhere. So yeah, very, very strange. So we're all keeping our fingers crossed that the second half of the season is going to see a second lease of life. the forecast, like I said, it's going to be cold, but we are seeing potentially some snow around Wednesday and Tuesday. In terms of how much we actually need to really kind of get back to where we were about 8 to 10 days ago, where we'd had a while there where we'd had some heavy snow. We then had that really sharp spell, and then we were getting little consistent top ups, and generally the whole of the mountain was really improving. We got up to a base of 170 centimeters before this warm smell came in, and the bowls were in really good condition. The glades, especially as well, was starting to get quite. You could ride those areas without worrying about hitting anything. Now that has completely changed now. Everything that is off-piste in slack country, that type of thing, is going to be very hard packed, very firm, until we get, at least I'm going to say, you really want anywhere between 15 to sort of 35, 40 centimeters to start sort of building it up. But I mean, 15 or 20 centimeters would make a big impact for sure, providing we got the right conditions with that. It looks like we've got already 11 people watching, so I hope you guys are all well. Make sure to get your comments in below. Have you been following the forecast? Obviously this is not a Revelstoke specific thing. This weather trend has affected all of BC, and I think also Northwest America. It's just been a very unpredictable winter. What are your guys' thoughts? They did, I think, late in the afternoon, actually eventually open some of the bowl areas, which had been closed pretty much for all the entire week. So by sort of the afternoon, they were able to open Lower North Bowl, Lemming Line, Three Bears, and Greedy Bowl. But Sub Peak was closed, and Kill the Banker was closed. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Kill the Banker remains closed now for multiple weeks. Because, I mean, I can see the hiking. I could see the outline of the hiking trails and the biking trails on the lower sections. So, that's how much the thaw. And I'm guessing if you've seen the thumbnail for this, the picture there, that was a shot of today just above the Revelation Lodge, around the mid station of the gondola. So Snow Rodeo in particular, around mid mountain, that run was significantly impacted by the thaw. I saw a lot of patches of grass, of rock, tree shoots, and as I said, quite shocking. So, we've got to get our snow dances on, everyone. We've got to hope that Mother Nature really starts to do us some favors in the second half of this winter. It seems to have hit really badly on the West Coast, especially, the Vancouver ski resorts. I know a lot of them have been closed for a while. Some in the South Caribous have even just said that they're not opening for the season. I mean, Revelstoke has a big heli ski industry, lots of cat skiing lodges around. And I've heard, lots of cancellations, not a lot of flying going on right now there, and not a lot of people touring in Rogers Pass, if at all. I've not heard any. Normally that's quite a talk in the community, pool and sauna at the end of the day. You usually hear people who've been touring up there right now. I don't know. I think everybody just kind of just sort of bunkered down and maybe staying inside and, hoping and praying that things turn around again. So, let me read quickly actually I'll read you the snow report roughly from the Revelstoke Mountain Resort website today, just to kind of give you an idea. So in terms of backcountry avalanche ratings right now, it's moderate in the alpine and the tree line. Below the tree line, it's low. At the start of this week, across the board there, it was sort of considerable avalanche risk early on. But cooling temperatures have allowed our groomers to expand their program across more terrain overnight. Yesterday's fresh snow. We did have a little light dusting on Friday night. The fresh snow has made a noticeable improvement to skiing and riding on the upper mountain. expect firm conditions when venturing off piste. And yeah, challenging skiing and riding conditions exist in the backcountry. Watch for free frozen avalanche debris and use caution when traveling across variable surface conditions. But yeah, they'd started grooming. It was just, you definitely, if you're coming over the next few days, you want to have your edges sharpened on the top of that mountain. Okay, I think we've got a couple of questions in. Let's have a look. So, Paul D. Paul, thanks for watching. Have there been fewer skis than usual because of the warm weather? For sure. It's definitely felt quieter. And I think the reason why it's so noticeable as well is like as we're going into February, this is like a ski town's busiest time. Yeah, you're used to sort of seeing a lot of people come from different parts of BC, the East Coast, sort of Quebec area, and then also from America, on the Icon Pass. But so far, it feels very, very quiet. And certainly, I know most of, a lot of the locals aren't going up. Everybody's just I think everybody's just quite taken aback by how quickly it's transitioned and how variable the January has been in particular. To sort of think back to not that long ago, and we had several days of minus 25 in the village, minus 35 degrees up top, 30 centimeters of heavy snow before all of that. And then after the cold snap, we then had a good week or so of, sort of 5 centimeters daily left and right, that type of thing, which was keeping things fresh. Although it was not sort of maybe your super, super deep power days that you maybe have, it was still good. And because technically January is still a quieter month, there was plenty of that snow to go around. But I think a lot of people have been holding off their normal trips. Who knows? Who knows how the rest of the season's going to go? Alan has commented. Alan, thanks for joining, mate. Doesn't feel like winter this year. Hopefully it's good by the 18th. Yeah, I mean, like if we get 2 weeks now where it goes consistently cold and we get, we get sort of consistent, maybe 5 centimeter top ups, then it is going to definitely improve. And I think we would, slowly get back up to where we were and hopefully get more. Yeah, it's just weird. We've not had many of like sort of big 10 centimeter, 15 centimeter dumps that really sort of excel the snowpack. It's just been incremental, but then it gets knocked back by this slightly warmer weather, which we've had a few times. Kevin, a regular on the live chats and the videos. Good to have you on. Thanks for the live chat. It doesn't look good. La Nina forecasted right from the beginning of the season, and Revi is right on the border of the warmer side. Unfortunately, it's turning out to be accurate. Ugh. Yeah, I feel you there, mate. And I think I kind of saw on a forecast today that it looked like finally America, well, the American side of the border was going to get hit with an atmospheric river that was going to bring them snow rather than rain, but it's missing BC, which is just sod's law. So, I mean, if we have another winter where we're just sat here watching Tahoe and Utah steal all of the snow, I'm going to lose my rag. But it's reasons like this why I wanted to sort of get involved more in the backcountry side of things, but I don't even think the backcountry is a safe place to go right now. It wouldn't be sensible. Alan, again, we took your recommendation about using the radios to communicate versus cell phones and picked up the Cardo outdoor comms of our group of 6. What do you mean by Cardo? What do you mean, Cardo? What's that? Maybe that's just terminology I'm not understanding. Oh, is that like oh, so you did buy a radio, right? No, okay, I see. Oh, it's a type of radio, I see. Did it work then? Were you able to sort of call with each other? Because yeah, for anyone who's wondering, Alan posted a question on a video about the cell service on the mountain at Revelstoke and what it's like. And it is limited depending on the areas on the mountain that you're at. So like and especially if you've got a low fog level, that cell service then gets really, really small. Cardo walkie-talkies, gotcha. Yeah. So at least that way, if someone's high up on one run and you're lower down, I'm hoping, Alan, it worked. So yeah, that's a good idea. And I think I meant one of the reasons why I mentioned that was actually last year going heli skiing with Selkirk, and I actually volunteered to use a radio there, and I realized that actually that's like so beneficial, if you get lost, having that radio. And yeah, if you're with a group of friends, that's even better, because then you have like almost instant contact with them to find out where they went. It's is here. I'm so glad. I'm hoping you've got good news for us, guys. It's is a forecaster, so he knows one or two things about models. So back to seasonal temps by February the 6th. Decent dump on Feb the 7th, maybe 10 centimeters, but a boring week in between, followed by more potentially 17th to 18th. But pretty boring all in all through at least but at least it'll be cold. Yeah, I think that's the one positive right now with things changing back, is that at least we've got cold, and hopefully, they can we don't have a lot of snowmaking at Revelstoke, but if they can start cranking that and at least sort of fix up the lower sections, like the run into the village, the resort, the cat track, riding that all the way down, and maybe some bits on snow rodeo, just to tie things up a bit. But it's funny, like I'm keeping my eye on the 17th, that 19th. I mean, what is it? That's the family long weekend, right? Which is normally our busiest week of the year. It's normally like the busiest week of every ski resort because of the holiday. And yeah, Kevin's dropping. Thanks for your videos. Thanks, Kevin. Good to have you on again, as always. Yeah, I mean, last year was like the perfect. We had all these factors mixed in that made for like a real busy week. I don't know if anybody was there last year, but we had 20 centimeters fresh snow like on the Friday night, and then on the Saturday morning, obviously Saturday was the start of that weekend, so everybody's driving up. And we had high winds that morning, so the gondola was on a go slow. That added with the fact that everybody in town knew that it was 20 centimeters fresh, so everybody's queuing. And that was the longest I've ever seen a lift line at Revelstoke. So the Gondi that day actually snaked down through the plaza, past the Rockford, into the bus layout, and actually into the staff car park. And they actually did a very good job, and everybody kept moving on that. But yeah, that potentially what happens when everything goes right. And then from that point onwards, last season was like the 2-3 successive weekends of that we had big storms. So who knows, maybe something will flick a switch come that time again, because that's what happened last year. It says very early to tell, but we are trending into a La Nina, maybe even by the end of winter. So things are looking good for late season or next season. Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, you just don't know, right? I mean, there's still, when you think about it, there's actually still 2.5 months. There's 10 to 11 weeks left in the season, which is a bloody long time still. But I think as someone who works here like full time, when you see that snow receding, it's weird. Like your senses kind of prepare yourself for, okay, it's the end of the season now. That's what I mean. So it kind of feels a little bit almost like the season is starting to wrap up, which I know is not the case, but it just feels strange, right? And everywhere's having the same thing. Paul's got another question. Keep them coming, by the way, guys. Bringing my adult boys for their first time to Revelstoke. They're looking for some list adventure, even if we get snow. Even if we get some snow, will there be areas that won't be open? Well, it really depends. I mean, I think like right now you can still ski top to bottom, and yeah, I mean those sort of the powder bowl areas. It's just subject to what the piste, and are there areas on the piste that won't be open? Well, you can still ski down to the bottom right now, and I would imagine that they're going to be busy making snow. If things got warmer again, then there may be some areas that would be closed. But yeah, it's just. When are you coming? Sorry, Paul. Are you coming this year? Did you say? I mean, typically in a normal season, right? In a normal season, this time is like a good. It's a good time to come, and like February and March are our best months, and March typically is normally quite a good snowy one as well. It's has also got to go. I've got to head out. Wish I had better news for you, but watch mid to late February for some snow activity to come back. Fingers crossed. Thanks. It's always good to have you checking in, buddy. Please do check in again. Always appreciate your insight on these. And yeah, that's my gut. Like the optimist in me, Paul, is saying that it's going to be a bit like last year, where the second half of the season is more reactive. Maybe it's just it's just a later year again. That's a trend, right? That seems to happen quite a lot now with these winters. So yeah, you just got to keep positive, hey. But I'm going to assess things more tomorrow, so I will be going out. I will be trying to film, trying to come up with some sort of ski vlog tomorrow, just to see how it is. Coming Feb 18th, looking for off-piste, but take what we can get, I guess. I mean, right now, I'll assess things tomorrow. My gut feeling is telling me tomorrow to stick to groomers. Like everything on the reports and from what I could see, like visually on the mountain today, just looked very, very hard packed in there. And that's that makes sense, right? Because we've not had any snow and it's been wet and rainy, and then we've now had cooler weather. But I think in the bowls, it's only going to take if you get 20 centimeters in there between now and the 18th, and consistently cold temperatures, we'll be on a good trend again. So I mean, you've still got 2 weeks here, Paul. So I mean, let's keep an eye on things. And I've said it multiple times, like the forecast here in Revelstoke is just, it's so unpredictable. You can wake up one morning and there'll be 10 centimeters that you weren't expecting. Similar thing, like the forecast can change so last minute here, which does make it hard to plan, right? I know for people who are planning trips, that's quite frustrating. And it's like you can't plan a trip on hypotheticals. But normally speaking, by this point, we're good. On a normal season right now, we'd probably have a base of 2 meters plus, but this is not a normal winter. I think we'll be fine if we get some consistent little bits of snow between now and the 18th. Like if we look at the current forecast for the next 4 to 5 days, let me just read it out for you. We'll look at a couple of different sources as well, because I know obviously each one is a little bit different. I mean, I'm looking at the Norm webcam right now on Ripper. It looks like it's just snowing a little bit up top right now at night, so that's a good sign. -5 at the sub peak, -3 on the Ripper chair right now, so it's cool up at the top. It's 4 degrees at the village base right now, so it's still not cool enough low down. But what they're saying sort of tonight and tomorrow, 3 centimeters. Alpine temperature of -5, ridge wind 10 kilometers. Monday, cloudy, but the alpine temperatures between -8 to -4. Tuesday, potentially 4 centimeters. Again, that freezing level is kind of staying the same. Wednesday, a further 5 centimeters potentially. And then Thursday, again, some flurries. And then looking beyond that right now, it's still saying cold but cloudy with sun, no real snow. Sort of looking from now to Friday, I think you got to take that with a grain of salt. But in the short term, next couple of days, there looks like there's going to be a little bit of snow, which has slowly increased things. Yeah. Looks like it's gone up to sort of 11, 12 people watching live. So thanks for these comments, guys. Keep them coming. Is anybody planning to come to Revelstoke, but they're sort of still, they're unsure? Is there anybody who's kind of uncertain right now? Because I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few who were sort of weighing things up right now. Crazy thing as well is that, like, I finally booked onto an avalanche safety training course for next weekend for my AST1, in anticipation of hopefully finally getting out there and exploring some of the Revelstoke backcountry and Rogers Pass. And yeah, there's just not much snow right now. Michael, thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting as well. I'm coming February the 29th to March the 2nd, and looking forward to it. Awesome. Will that be your first time here, Michael, or have you been to Revelstoke before? Either way, by that point, I would be very gobsmacked if we didn't have good snow by then. Thanks for the weather updates. Yeah, it's the first time. Oh, it's a pleasure. I actually don't. I mean, I don't know why I didn't do this in previous years being at Revelstoke, but I think it also, in my mind, I've kind of been very accepting of my where I am status wise as a Brit and trying to figure out being here long term. And so for a while I was sort of struggling. I wasn't quite fully ready to accept that, okay, Revelstoke is definitely my home. And although that's still not the case, this year I'm like, treat it as your home, like talk about everything as much as I can about Revelstoke, promote it and share with you guys all the amazing things. And also these current updates seem to have proved quite useful for you guys ever since we had to announce the postponement of the resort, which was crazy actually when you think about it. I mean, that seems like a lifetime ago, but that again is just like a twist in the tail of this year. So yeah, I mean, these lives on a sort of a Saturday, Friday evening, that they work quite well for me and seems to work well for quite a few of you people from Canada or the States. And yeah, obviously, hopefully the British viewers catch up with this on a Sunday morning with their cup of tea. So if anybody is going to watch this after the live, you can always get your comments and questions into the regular comment section, which I'll reply to as normal. But yeah, thanks for the comment there, Michael. Okay. Do you have any suggestions for good blue runs for intermediate skiers that like a bit of challenge and trees? The main three I always go for are on the south-facing side, and that's the mid part of Snow Rodeo, Fellabuncher, and Woolly Bully. Those are all accessible from, you go to the top of the gondola, head down to the Stoke Chair, go below the Stoke Chair, and then you can ride those down, and those will bring you back to the mid station. Now, those are always the sort of the main ones, and when they're groomed, they are just an absolute joy. Never very busy, I'll be completely honest, because all the expert skiers go high, and so it kind of leaves more room around that mid-mountain. If you want something a little bit challenging around that, you can always go a little bit higher off the Stoke. pitch black, critical path, sorry, which is still technically a blue, although it's quite a steep part of the top there, along with, I mean, the top part of Snow Rodeo is actually a black just because it's that bit steeper, but it's typically groomed. And in between all of those, you've got trees. So the higher parts of, say, around Snow Rodeo and Hot Sauce. Hot Sauce is a great one. If you've not done it yet, I'd recommend watching the First Tracks video from a couple of days ago, where I did a couple of runs on Hot Sauce and a couple on Snow Rodeo. And they were just, when they're freshly groomed, they're some of the best I've ever done. But in between all of that, you've then got a couple of glades, so trees. You've got Clyde Secret, Tally Ho, Critical Path Glades, I think, is another one, although that's, I wouldn't recommend that one. So those are all on the south side. On the north side, over towards Ripper, let me get out my map. Always good to have this on hand. A couple of good blue runs to enjoy on the Ripper side. You got Burn Down and Chopper. Now, in between all of those, I mean, if it is your first time at Revelstoke, what I will say, Michael, is you're going to notice there's a lot of trees, right? There's a lot. So you're not going to have any shortage of tree runs. But Tally Ho Glades is a nice one to do on the south side just because the trees are nice and wide. What other ones could I recommend to you? Yeah, all of Critical Path, actually, I'd say is a good fun one. I mean, Pitch Black is a black run, but it's sort of on the lower section there. I do think it's quite close to being, an intermediate run, but that's just my assessment. Hope that answers your questions for on-piste runs. But yeah, those runs there are very good fun, especially around the mid-mountain. Great question, Michael, by the way. Love that one. Who's next? Obviously, one of the best things about Revelstoke is that, okay, if the snow's not good, there's still plenty of stuff that you can do in the town. So yeah, there's plenty of hockey games on right now. There's a DJ on at Pam's Kitchen tonight. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Pam's Kitchen. It's a German and Indian infused restaurant, and they've got a DJ on tonight, and it's called the Pam Over. The DJ is not called the Pam Over, but the party is called the Pam Over, and it's a party themed with The Hangover, the movie. So yeah, a couple of us going to go check that out, which should be a right laugh. Sweet, thanks so much. We are 3 intermediate skiers and 1 intermediate snowboarder. Any areas we should avoid so the snowboarder doesn't have a tough travel between runs? You're not going to find much sympathy for snowboarders with me, Michael, but joking aside, though a lot of the transitional areas from different parts of the mountain are cat tracks. So there are going to be some areas where the border, unfortunately, is going to have to do a little bit of hucking, shall we say, especially if you're on the Ripper Chair side, the north side, getting back round to the Stoke. So you could stick to the south side predominantly and just ride. What you'll find is if you're doing those runs from the very top of the Stoke and riding them all the way down to the mid station or back to the bottom, you'll find that they're long. And so, you could just do up and down rather than sort of traversing across. But yeah, there's a section coming back from the Ripper Chair where you might need to lend a pole to that poor snowboarder if he's behaving, or she. Yeah. You see, everybody there has to do a bit of, it's like everybody turns into Nordic skiers trying to get around to that part. But yeah, I mean, the one sort of main cat track / longest run, the last spike off the top there zigzags all the way, and at some point you'll inevitably find yourself on a part of that. A really good one actually for a boarder and skier, which looks like a cat track, but it's actually very, very quick. It's called Fast Freds, and that's a blue run which you can access. Just trying to remember. So from where the bottom of the Stoke is, you actually do a little bit of the last spike, the green run, where it connects onto part of Snow Rodeo. But if you continue just a little bit further down and then keep traversing left, you'll see Fast Freds, and it's this really good fun run through the trees. Not a lot of vertical on it, but it's incredibly fast, and boarders and skiers love it alike. So that's a good one for both disciplines. Yeah, that's always a favorite of mine, especially actually later in the year on a sunny day, zooming through that, and then you merge out near the connectors of sort of Pitch Black, Fellabuncher, Rodeo. I mean, if it's a clear day as well, I know I've said this before, but on that lowest section, occasionally it's always good at the midsection of Rodeo to pull over to Sunshine, which is technically a green run, but it's a section there which is beautiful because it brings you out towards the side. It opens up on the Columbia River, and you see the mountains. Great place to maybe stop if it's a sunny moment at the end of the day, and maybe get some photos or have a beer or a snack. First run of the day, what do you recommend? Also, best run for end of the day. Oh, Michael, great question again. You're bringing out some bangers here. Okay, what are we talking here though? Are we talking like a sunny day or a powder day? So typically what I'll do, let's say we've had like 10 centimeters of fresh snow, right? I'm going to come up, I'm going to head straight to the Stoke chair. And then what I'm normally going to do is I'll probably do a warm-up lap on Rodeo. And then I'll go and do a gladed run in Tally-Ho Glades or Still Life Glades. So I'll try and stick to the south side, because normally what happens is after we've had some fresh snow, they do delay opening some of those powder areas just because of avalanche control, right? And then normally I kind of time it where I've done 2 or 3 runs, mixture of pisted and glades, and then go through on the gates to sort of set reality or traverse round to Lemming Line for North Bowl and thing. But that's always a good one that I'll lap Rodeo consistently. Later on in the day, Michael, is when I would maybe stick to that mid mountain. But first thing in the morning, if there is a powder day, mid mountain will be quiet. So yeah, if you guys are sort of sticking like the intermediate areas, like that'll be good for you. Be aware that if you do go around to the Ripper chair side, that side does close earlier than the rest of the mountain. So last chair on that side is like, it closes at 3. Last chair I think is at 3, and then everywhere else on the south side, the last chair is at 3:30. But you can still I think you can still get the Gondi for a bit until around 4 o'clock, I believe, from the bottom part of the mountain. Best run to end the day. So normally I always love to do, it's a little blue run on the bottom section called Home Run. So I'll come down, but this year I've not been able to do. I only did it like once, and it's not been groomed because it's like right on the edge of a road where they're actually doing a lot of real estate construction, and so they've actually done quite a lot of landscaping. So one of my favorite runs is actually not near the bottom, has not been open. So I like to mix it up between Fellabuncher and Woolly Bully. Yeah, I do like a good one there. Alan says never call last run. 100%. It's always the penultimate run, right? Does anybody have any other favorites? Like if anybody's been to Revelstoke before, what are their favorite runs? I really enjoyed exploring Gracias Ridge the other day. Any good spots to chill in town? It depends what you're going for, Michael. I mean, for sort of, if you've got a couple of your kids with you, who are sort of adult area, good place to go for some beer and a little bit of I guess the ski theme is always the Village Idiot. That's our kind of I think, the Canadians, the Americans call it a dive bar, right? Which is a novel concept for me as a Brit, but I like it because of its alpine theme. It's definitely got the biggest connection, I think, to sort of the mountain, because you enter in and everything's got your everything's made out of old skis and old snowboards, right? All the chairs are, and you look upon and basically all the walls are mixed with ski signs and photos, and there's always some ski movie playing, and there's a little bit of sport on, and really good hospitality from everyone that works in there. So yeah, Village Idiot is always a recommendation. They do good pizzas, do some good burgers. If you're looking for a good drink, you could go to Chubby's. The bartender there, his name's George, tall fellow with a beard. I think he's from Latvia. Makes the best old fashioned in town. Like, best. It's always like this really good dried barrel bourbon. Real good. Go on to sort of have one in there. Oh gosh, now you're really sort of testing me. There's always going to be some live music in the region, which is also known as the River City Pub. Beer House, spelled Haus, which is like a German theme. Do some good craft beers and smoked brisket. Rumpus is a small craft beer place, which they do a good selection of stuff in there. If you're into your gins and your whiskies, you could go to Monashee Distilleries, which is opposite Village Idiot. What's the best scenic run on the mountain? Oh, Michael. Okay. Sunshine's definitely up there for sure, because the way it's like you start heading down sort of towards the mountain, to the base of the mountain, where you can sort of, start to see back, but then you hang left. And like I say, that the sort of the mountain really opens up, and you see, on a clear day, you see the Columbia River going through, and then you've got the mountain range ahead in front of you. You've got your Mount Begbie, Mount McPherson, these huge, stunning mountain ranges. But also, if you're on a clear day from the sub peak or into some of the bowls, like actually no, even not in the off piste. I got to remember, obviously, Michael, you're a pisted skier, right? So if you come off the top of the Ripperchair and you hang left towards, is it Chopper? Yeah, it is Chopper. Just right on the top there, on a clear day, you can actually see all the way into Rogers Pass. So that's where they do the heli skiing. It's where Highway 1 continues on to Golden and Calgary. And that's quite a beautiful view to see. It's cool when you come down to the mid-mountain section, just above the mid-station. So say you're on one of those groomers, and if it is clear, you can see the river, you can see the small airport in Revelstoke, and you can actually see all of the town from the piste. So I think that's a pretty scenic run, any of those mid-mountain ones. Yeah. A hot sauce actually. Yeah, Michael, definitely watch the most recent video, because that was blue sky morning on fresh groomed corduroy, and no one else had been on it yet. And you could see Mount Cartier off to your left. You could have like the straight line of a groomed run with trees either side, and then you had the river, and then you had the mountains. That's a good one. Again, like you pick these depending on the day, like the conditions and where. The thing about Revelstoke is that it could be cloudy on one section of the mountain, and then the other it could be sunny, or it could be snowy. So you kind of just have to assess as you get up there, really. I guess the short answer is that everywhere has some pretty scenic views here in BC. Okay, I think this is the most I've actually had anyone watching live at one time right now. So thanks everybody who is tuning in. Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Keep them coming. Keep the questions in. Let's check another forecast. So we've checked the resort forecast page. Snowforecast.com, not one that us Brits look on very favorably, but a lot of people out here in Canada say it's pretty reliable. So if I go to the top of our mountain here, which is just a little above 2,225 meters above sea level, yeah, sort of hovering around -5 to -8, that sort of typical Revelstoke temperatures. Not seeing a lot of, again, a couple of centimeters maybe tomorrow morning. Monday again, nothing, but then potentially 6 or 7 centimeters on Tuesday right now. That's what we're seeing. Any secret spots on the mountain that only locals know? Oh, well, you've got to find the telephone. You've got to find the telephone. If you so the one thing that the resort has done really well this year is done some really good collaborations with sort of community projects and a lot of art themed stuff. So when you come here, you'll notice actually there's a lot of stuff in the trees and on some of these smaller hidden runs. A lot of art installations, which is cool, and it's been blended in to sort of work well with the mountains. So there's a couple around the Stoke area. I think, is it on Hollywood or is it Tasty Glades? Okay, there's an area on just to the right hand side of the Stoke chair, and funnily enough, it's not actually on the map. But it's part, you can access it from coming through Pitch Black, but it's to the right hand, to the skiers right of Hollywood, which is a blue run, right? And in there, it's just a little short run that takes you in these trees. It's a groomed run. And on sort of left and right on each side of this area, you've got, like I said, like art installations. And that's really cool to see. Yeah. Secret. What are the secret spots? See, I don't want to divulge my secrets, Michael. That's the thing. Yeah, I think just that's something unique to Revelstoke is the art for sure. And there's like somewhere on Sunshine, actually, I noticed there's a bell, so you can ski past it and give it a whack with your pole, and then pray to the snow gods for more snow. Whoop, go chat. Yeah, I think we had about 16 or 17 people watching live at one point there. So yeah, keep it coming, everybody. And yeah, obviously that should. I'm sure we'll get some people that'll watch it afterwards as well. Back to that forecast. So yeah, the snowforecast.com, not really seeing anything else in terms of precipitation heading into sort of Wednesday and Thursday, but again, just consistently cold. So this is kind of aligning with what it was saying earlier, what we're seeing on the other one. Do you have a scavenger hunt map to find all the art, etc.? I don't think we do, Alan, but that's a really good question. I mean, I'll have to find out about that, because I mean, there's a lot, right? And a lot of it is kind of like some of the early stuff is stuff that's been put up there like over time, especially like the red telephone box, right? I don't know. No, I don't think there is. Leave that one with me. I might look into that a little bit, because I think that could be actually quite a fun video idea. Like I'd thought for ages about wanting to find the telephone box or the telephone pinned to a tree, and sort of a friend from work eventually showed it to me. And you've got all these other ones, so yeah, it'd be be fun to do and sort of show and take a selfie with it and tag the resort. Well, the biggest one is I tell you what, I will share a little bit is Norm the Powder Gnome. So he's our kind of like our resort mascot, as it were. So if you go on the website of the webcams, you'll see the garden gnome, and he's called Norm, Gnorm. So if he's full, if he's buried, he's got like 27.5 centimeters, something like that. He's on the Ripper Chair side of the mountain, right at the top there. But you can't, it's cordoned off. So you unfortunately you can't take a selfie with it. But there's a lot of merch and stuff that you can buy now in the retail store. My twin sister is the snowboarder and sometimes dabbles in black diamonds. Any easy ones? And any easy ones you can think of for black diamonds? As a border, I think I mean, does she do powder, Michael, or is she just thinking like diamond, like groomers, as it were? Okay, they're not going to be pasted, but because the obvious ones would be Pitch Black and the top of Snow Rodeo, Devil's Club as well, depending on what it's like. But that one I did, Hot Sauce, is technically a black. So yeah, just to put that into perspective. Although it was groomed, fresh corduroy, it is rated as a black. And that's mainly because of the vertical. Ansley, thanks for commenting. Yo, sick channel. Are you going to be at Revy and Red next week? I've got a couple people coming up and down to join in on a YouTube vid. Certainly not Red. I live here. I work here in town, Ansley. So, you know, I work 5 days a week and get off at the weekend. So, yeah, I'll be around, and happy to come up, happy to meet up with a few laps. Although next weekend I'm doing my AST1 course on the Sunday. So yeah, but I will be around. Keep an eye out for me. And yeah, if you're around, happy to go for a few laps, maybe show you a bit of Revelstoke. Nick, thanks for joining. What's your Glade forecast for next Wednesday? Okay, I'll be honest, like a lot of the forecasts right now are not showing anything past Friday. Oh, sorry. I see what you're saying. This coming Wednesday. Right. So Wednesday right now, they're not showing any snow, but it is going to be cold from this point on now. So yeah, in case you missed it, we're going back to the average Revelstoke temperatures at the top of the mountain. Mid-mountain and below is still relatively warm, although we're seeing colder. But the snowiest day so far is Tuesday, where they're predicting 7 to 8 centimeters. So Wednesday actually should be a relatively good day for you guys. My advice there is to get up and stay high. It is blowing southerly, that wind. So basically, if there is going to be any good snow, it's probably going to be in the bowls, like your North Bowl and some of the glades on that side. Separate Reality probably might be some good one for some runs there, because the snow will blow into that bowl and it'll capture it. Oh, you're coming up with Ainsley as well. Awesome. Or Ansley. Hope I've got that right. And how long are you guys up there for then? You're from Wednesday until when? Because if I can get out maybe normally on a Saturday, I can get out for a couple of lunchtime laps. So maybe be happy to kind of do 2 or 3 before I go back. Good luck on your AST course, but we're down from the 6th to the 13th. Oh, okay. So you're going to be there. Okay. And we're from MTL. Wednesday to Friday. Wednesday, I think I can come out. I think I can come out for a couple of laps at lunch. Montreal. Okay. Je peux essayer de parler un petit français avec vous aussi. But yeah, okay. Let me put my email in the comment section here, guys, and then you can shoot me a message and we can try and tee up something. I can't guarantee it. I'll be completely honest with you guys, just because of my work commitments during the week. No French. Oh, okay, so it's full on English. Okay, that's helpful because I'm rusty right now. Oh yeah, if you shoot me guys a message, I'll try and see if I can make it up. Or even if you want to meet up for a beer in the evenings, I'm sure I can make that work as an alternative. So you're from Montreal. Have you guys seen what the conditions are like at Red? I have not heard anything about them recently. Do you know? I imagine they've been in the same boat, though. Nice. No French. On parlait le français seulement avec les femmes québécois. Okay. Fair enough. Red is looking better on the forecast, but less base to begin with. Yeah, they've really struggled at the start. I mean, everywhere postponed, but I know that like towards the cusp, like Red and Whitewater were just struggling. But it was on my radar to do. Like I was thinking about making a trip in January when I was thinking, okay, things are going to be a little bit quieter. It'll be an easier time to go. And then, yeah, just this whole thing happened. It was either too cold or too wet and warm. Who knows? I mean, in an ideal world, right, we want this. We'd like an extended winter now, wouldn't we? We'd like February and March to be so snowy that they try and keep all the resorts try and stay open later rather than closing in the second week. Because for me, as a Brit who's been skiing a lot in Europe, I'm used to skiing like late into April, but you can't really do that here, which it took me a while to get used to that. Because really then you have to wait 6 or 7 weeks before it becomes summer in the mountains, And I'm guessing you guys are you flying from Montreal or Toronto into Kelowna? Hopefully Air Canada doesn't have any issues. Beauty Glades no good for a week for weeks, I guess. Yeah, it's just this last 4 or 5 days, Nick, it has really impacted those conditions. Yeah, there's no soft snow in the Glades right now, just so you know. No soft snow. So yeah. Montreal to Calgary. And are you driving from Calgary over Rogers Pass, or are you getting the connection to Kelowna? Bence, thanks for joining. Good to have you on. First day at Revelstoke today was sick. Going to try North Bowl tomorrow. Awesome. Where did you go today, Bence? How did you find it? Obviously, it was, yeah, I mean, we were kind of having a bit of a transition in the temps today. Okay, Rogers Pass. Worried about the closure. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like if you're if you're driving in on the Tuesday. Eesh. Well, right now I think it's good to drive, Ansley. We've not had any new snow and it's been warm all the way up. So, there's no road closures. I mean, I would recommend when you touch down to sort of check Drive BC, but I'm not seeing anything. I've not heard anything about closures, and I just know they're doing a lot of avalanche control. So, because of that warmer weather the last couple of days, but yeah. Snowing on Tuesday on top of the ice layer, so hope it stays open. Yeah, I mean, it could get a little bit gnarly on the top of the summit there. I mean, like I did an early season day at Lake Louise and then came back and was not expecting, and it can happen. So yeah, just keep you guys eye on it there, and yeah, we'll just see how that forecast goes. I think it's meant to taper off actually on Tuesday evening. Like, but obviously forecasting the snow directly in Rogers Pass is super hard, eh? Like, and it's from what they're saying on Tuesday, like snowforecast.com just says light snow. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's 7 centimeters by the end of the day, but it's not like heavy at one time. It's just like gradual light snow throughout the day. Yeah, Ainsley, apparently you're too crusty, mate. We'll go skiing together and leave Ainsley in the village. Yeah. Are you a slow skier, are you, mate? I'm always down to sort of ski with people. Yeah, depending on when I can try and get out and just do a couple of laps. Curtis, thanks for joining. My wife won't let me go cat skiing. How can I convince her otherwise? Okay, can I ask what the reason she is giving for not letting you go cat skiing? Speak to her in French. Yeah, what is the reason here, Curtis? Because I can't see many reasons why not to. I mean, obviously conditions right now are not great. She's going, but she just thinks that I suck. What? She thinks that you're not good enough to come with her to go cat skiing. Okay. Right. What I would say, so I've not done cat skiing, so I can't give like too much insight into it. But from my roommate now, who's training as a guide at Mustang Powder, and from what I've heard from him, cat skiing is different from heli skiing in that it's actually a lot less intense. So it's a lot more laid back affair throughout the day. You can, it's a lot more social as well. Like heli skiing is very much like helicopter picks you up, go to the top, you follow the guide down. Whereas like I think actually with the cat skiing, it's a little bit more like, okay, you make your way down, and then everybody's in that cat on the way back up to the top of a run. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what your skiing is like, Curtis. I don't know where you are planning on going. But yeah, I mean, if you can get any prep in beforehand to prove her wrong, by all means, go for it. Poor Curtis sounds rough. I'm not highlighting that other comment, Curtis. I did see it, but I'm not highlighting that. Leave her at the hotel. Oh dear. This chat is taking on a life of its own. Yeah, I mean, why? So, yeah, I'm still trying to understand. Like, she's going, but she doesn't want to take you. What's going on there? Just say you're going, or go to a different cat skiing operation if you can. Where are you thinking of going, out of curiosity? Sounds like good. Oh dear. Sounds like Curtis needs some ski lessons. You heard it from Michael. Curtis, I think if you're okay at red, going at red, or go heli and leave her on the cat. Yeah, go and have a better time. That's true. But obviously come back in one piece. Red Mountain is supposed to be really, really good for cat skiing, from what I've heard. And is it Red Mountain where they do like they have like a cat off the back of the mountain where you can just pay like a small amount and it's just going to take you up for you to ride down? Buzz the cat with the heli. Absolutely. Just like radio down to her on the thing and just, just to rub it in. They have a day cat. Okay, nice. Yes. Yeah, that's what I've heard. See, that's now kind of like swinging it. Like if I ever get the chance to go over that way, they have a day cat. Okay. So it literally just takes you, I'm going to research this. Day cat. Let's have a look. Because they've got a couple. Is it big red cats? No. It's like a lift, but it's a cat. Right. So they put you in like the bucket, or they put you inside. Do you know, like that? Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Cat skiing is not something I've done, but it's definitely something I would really like to do. Oh, here we go. So they operate a one Mount Kirkup. Is that it? I think. $15 ride. $15 per ride for a 6-pack of Mount Kirkup cat tickets, totaling $90. Buy online and hand it to the cat. Hand it. So you literally buy a ticket at the window, and then when you go up to the cat, you literally just hand it to him. So you can buy a pack of 6 for $15 each, or you can do the one up, which is just $20, or you could just literally rock up to the cat and give him $20 cash. That's insane. That is okay. That is something. I need to see how this winter goes. Yeah. Yo, Matt, I'll email you. Have a good night and keep this channel going. Thanks, Ainsley. Really appreciate the support, guys. And yeah, I've got to actually wrap it up here just because I'm going off to this this event in town. But this has been a real fun evening chat, guys. Thanks for everyone who's contributed or watched and liked, just for making it come alive. And yeah, let's keep the snow dancers coming, right? Let's stay positive. Plenty of time to go. I definitely do want to come to Red at some point if I can make it work with work. Nick, see you next week. See you guys. Safe travels out here. Safe travels to everyone coming. I'm sure I'll be live around the same time next week. So thanks a lot. Really enjoy your channel. Appreciate it, Michael. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend. And yeah, keep an eye out for a vlog on early next week. See you later, guys. Thanks.